Alright, so I'm finally here to talk about this. Yesterday, with the start of the stress test, we got some new character intro dialogue, and these are some very interesting ones. Now, I do want to preface that I do know some people are on the fence about how, canon the mirror match intros are. And I do understand that, and it's for good reason, because especially with Mortal Kombat now, with the different timelines and all of that stuff, when people see these mirror match intros, they instantly say okay, they're just not canon, we just gotta disregard those. But I like to believe that at least one of the characters is true, of course, to this timeline. So in this instance, regardless of which character is talking, one of these things is canon to the current universe. And with this intro I'm about to show you guys, both characters say something interesting, so it doesn't matter which one is canon because it's still there. The groundwork is there, and we just have to speculate about it. So let's go ahead and watch this, and then we'll talk about it.
Does Onaga exist in your timeline? Exist in it. He rules it.
Okay, so you guys heard that. That's nuts. Okay, does Onaga exist in your timeline? And then the other Liu Kang says,
in your timeline.
Exist in it? He rules it. And that's basically it. We can basically assume that one of these Liu Kangs is our Liu Kang, and then the other one is from another timeline. It doesn't really matter which timeline it is. One of these Liu Kangs is not the current one. But it doesn't matter which one it is, because both Liu Kangs reference Onaga. One of them is asking, hey, is Onaga in your timeline? Basically implying that Onaga is in his timeline. And the other one says, exist in it, he rules it. Meaning that Onaga has a huge, relevance in that timeline. So regardless of which Liu Kang is our Liu Kang, he has something to do with the story. In my opinion, I think it can go either way. I want to say that the Liu Kang that said he rules in it is the current timeline in the new era, then that basically means that Onaga is probably the ruler of the bad guys. He might be in a team with Shang Tsung, he might be a ruler in Outworld or in Netherrealm even, anything like that, right? And then if you want to say that the other Liu Kang is the current Liu Kang, then that means Onaga still exists, you know what I mean? Even if he's not the #1 ruler, he still exists in the timeline. So if I had to guess, I do think he's going to be a villain. This basically confirms him. There's no way for them to get out of this. Even without complete confirmation that this is canon, they wrote this into here with intention. Onaga could rule over some type of evil force, whether it's the Deadly Alliance or the Dragon Clan. We do know that Goro has a dragon emblem face
carved into his armor.
So maybe Onaga has an army again, but this time it's not undead. This confirms Onaga in some way, shape, or form. Even if he's an Easter egg and he's not actually something big in this timeline. No, actually, shut the fuck up, what am I saying? This Liu Kang is asking about Onaga.
There must be
some reason to do so. He's either worried about him, or he wants to know if he should be worried about him. Then he's like, okay, so is Onaga hot shit? Do I have to worry about him? Or is he not that bad? So that's why he's asking, and then this other Liu Kang is scared of him. Get him the fuck out ASAP. And so I really do think he's gonna be important.
He rules it.
He's almost he's like, dude, watch the fuck out. Again, so it doesn't really matter which Liu Kang is the canon one, because both of them are concerned with Onaga. This also kind of feeds into my theory about, regardless of how canon these are, one of them is from this timeline. So listen to this katana dialogue here.
My Mileena's not a clone, we are sisters. Someone has been feeding you lies.
Okay, so again, this is very important. So which one is it? I think it's the one in the alternate colors.
Clone, we are sisters.
See, so that's the one with the alternate colors, which is kind of weird because I think that if anything can separate these characters from each other, I would think it would be the one with the base colors and then the alt colors. Probably just looking too into it, it's probably randomized which character says what, or it's determined by player 1 and player 2. So the one katana here on the right says wait, what did she say actually? What did she say? Okay, she said, my Mileena is not a clone, we are sisters. And that is this new timeline, where Mileena is not a clone with Tarkatan blood and stuff like that. In this timeline, she's actually Katana's blood sister, and instead has a disease.
We are sisters. Someone has been.
And then the other Katana's no, I'm sorry, I hate to break it to you, sis, but that's just not true. They're lying to you. And this feeds into a much larger theory, where Liu Kang's new timeline isn't perfect, and if anything, it's decaying and it's breaking down to be the past timeline once again. Even though Liu Kang rewrote history to make Mileena and Katana actual blood siblings, it was almost like a new coat of paint. And then, as the time goes on, Shang Tsung or somebody is going to mess with Liu Kang's timeline and make it to where the old stuff kind of merges with the new, or the new stuff is just completely non-existent anymore. Because people are unsure about how canon these intros are, the one aspect I can get behind saying is not canon is the fact that these two characters are interacting. So in other words, maybe in this timeline, Mileena and Katana are actually sisters. And the only reason this other Katana doesn't believe that is because she's like, no, in my timeline it's not like that. So she is saying, no, you're a liar, but it's actually not the case. So like the two timelines are completely separate from one another and they do not merge in any way. And it's just that they're like confused, you know what I mean? Because they both live different lives. I hope I'm making sense here. Basically what I'm saying is that they are two separate timelines and they're not going to merge or anything like that. These two characters are, you know, confused with one another because they are from different timelines. There was also another one where Katana actually references being with Liu Kang, which I really like because I love the Katana and Liu Kang relationship. But it doesn't seem like that's gonna happen in the new timeline.
A god? He's my consort.
Oh, okay, there's the Liu Kang one, just like a little snippet of it, but okay, so here's the one I was talking about. So this intro implies that not only is Shao Kahn not a Kahn in this new timeline, but he also seems to not be as powerful. Because of course, if the Kahn moniker is like taken from his name, then he's, you know, not in that place of power anymore. Let me play it for you right here.
Shao is your father? And the one true Kahn of Outworld.
Also, her voice is like so different here. It's almost like the Mileena voice, like a human Mileena without the like disease or without the Tarkatan part. Like a deeper tone.
Shao is your father? And the one true Kahn of Outworld.
Interesting, very interesting. So yeah, those are some huge bombshells that were dropped yesterday. Again, I do think the Onaga one is probably the one a lot more people are like, oh wow, so it's like that? Like, it's just like that. And I do understand, because that is a huge drop to just be dropped randomly in the stress test. So is Onaga in MK1? I would say yes, in some way. He might not be the big bad, he might not be the final boss, but he does exist in this timeline. He isn't dead, you know what I mean? Like, Shao Kahn didn't kill him in this timeline. If anything, Shao is definitely going to be below him in this
timeline.
I am bummed I didn't get into the stress test, but I am still happy that stuff like this is something I can talk about and cover with you guys. So it's not all bad, right? I'm still going to be able to play the beta and all that kind of stuff. We recently just hit 1.5 thousand subscribers, and I am so grateful to all of you. But yeah, let me know your guys' thoughts on all of this. Make sure you guys stay safe, stay hydrated, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.